Hi, I'm Lucas King. I'm an educational consultant with the International Partnership Institute and one of the designers of this course. My job is to work with our subject matter experts to translate decades of real-world experience into an engaging, accessible, and adaptable course that will be freely available to Christian schools around the world. While we know this is a pilot project, we're very excited about this initial design because we think it provides an innovative and interdisciplinary learning experience that will show students how to really apply the principles and best practices of collaborative partnerships in order to address complex issues, accomplish challenging goals, and bring big dreams to reality. This is a fully self-contained course. It doesn't require a subject matter expert to teach it. Instead, each school will provide a faculty facilitator with an interest in the subject who would guide students through the learning process, adding their own expertise and experience along the way. This course is being designed for maximum flexibility and easy integration into your own curriculum. It can be delivered in a classroom, online, or blended learning environment. It can be conducted over semester, quarter, or intensive terms. And it's scalable for undergraduate, graduate, or doctoral degree levels. It's really the kind of course that could easily be cross-listed for different departments or degree levels. If you want to offer an online version, but you don't have your own course platform, we'll also provide a hosted virtual learning environment on the well-known and widely used Moodle platform. If your institution already uses Moodle, you could easily import the course directly into your own system. Now, from the design of this course, it will be immediately obvious that it is not based on lectures and papers and exams. Instead, this course uses a scenario-based learning model that engages students in highly interactive and collaborative activities that are embedded in a story context. Let me illustrate how that works. In the first week of the course, students are introduced to an idealized or benchmark example of a realistic collaboration scenario in the form of an in-depth chronological case study. As the course progresses, students complete various projects as they work individually and in teams to build out their own contextualized and realistic scenarios of collaboration. The result of this teamwork is an in-depth fictional case study created by each team. These are substantial chronological stories of collaborative initiatives that are based on realistic scenarios that we help the students put together. The whole process engages the creative imagination and the deep reflection of students so that by the end of the course, they can clearly visualize how the principles and processes and best practices of collaboration are played out in realistic situations. We've designed the course this way for two reasons. Now, the first is that recent research in cognitive science around the nature of learning is leading to the growing consensus that our brains are literally wired for stories. Stories are the mental maps of our experiences. They provide context and causality and emotion, all essential elements to effective learning. We live stories, we tell stories, and better than anything, we remember stories. Another reason that we've designed the course this way has to do with the nature of the material itself. You see, on the surface, the principles of collaboration are quite simple. But in the real world, collaborative initiatives are rarely undertaken and often fail to achieve significant results. And one reason for this gap is that real-world collaboration often involves a great deal of complexity and uncertainty and risk. And short of actually placing students into long-term apprenticeships around the world, a story-centered, scenario-based approach is the best way to show how these broad principles apply to very specific situations. So with these things in mind, our design goals have been not only to make the course highly engaging and memorable, but also very relevant and realistic. And for these reasons, the entire sequence of the course is designed around a story-centric framework. If you look at how the course is laid out, you'll see there are 8 components. The main sequence is in 3 sections: unfolding the story, learning the principles, and creating the story. In the example of a 15-week semester, these would be 1 week, 4 weeks, and 10 weeks long. Also, there are pre-course activities and an orientation session at the beginning and post-course activities at the end. So along this main sequence, there are weekly recurring activities in addition to what we call challenge activities throughout the course. And the main idea of our story-centric framework is pretty simple. There's this progression through these 3 main sections that takes students through a process of challenge and analysis and synthesis. In the first section, students interact with a benchmark or model story of collaboration. This is essentially an in-depth, enhanced case study. The students work in teams to discuss and respond to crises or dilemmas in the story as it unfolds. And this process challenges students to test their initial assumptions, provides a context for learning, and prepares them for deeper study of the principles at work. In the second section, students unpack the principles in the story as they intensively read and discuss themes from the course text. This provides the students with an analytical outline for the core framework of collaboration. And in the third section, students are synthesizing what they've learned and working in teams to author their own stories of collaboration using the original benchmark story as a guideline. That's the basic flow of the course, which is supported and extended by many other activities. Let me just highlight a few of these other activities. Obviously, there's an orientation session at the beginning of the course, which is basically an introduction to the format. Prepares students for the peer interaction and the teamwork that's required for the different activities. We provide all the materials necessary for that orientation. As you can see, there are also a number of activities going on in this first section, including the primary activities such as the story dilemma discussions and an overview of the final story projects. Some other examples. During the second section, as students are engaging in analytical discussions around the course text, they're also collaboratively authoring a Q&A wiki and a shared glossary of relevant terms and concepts. These activities help students think through the logical and emotional reactions to collaborative initiatives, and it also helps them come to a common understanding around the language of partnerships, both very important in the real world. Student teams during this time also use a scenario builder game that we're creating to help them build the realistic outlines for their own collaboration stories. In the final section of the course, student teams are working in earnest on their collaboration stories, and they're also completing a series of parallel projects such as presentations, research, interviews, and assessments. These are designed to take the students into their communities for real-world points of reference, which then become inputs into their collaboration story projects. So on top of these three main sections of the course is a recurring weekly assignment that involves journaling or blogging in response to specific prompts. These are designed to facilitate consistent reflection on their own experiences, on the scriptures, and the theological foundations of collaboration. And finally, there are the challenge activities. These are designed to provide enrichment for the course, for the whole learning experience. And they provide a fair and effective way to scale the course for different degree levels. Basically, students would select from a list of challenge activities that may be completed at any time during the course. And each activity includes a description of the expected deliverable and a point value based on the difficulty or estimated time required for the activity. So each degree level, whether undergraduate, graduate, or doctoral, would have to complete challenge activities adding up to a certain number of points. But the selection of those specific activities is up to the students themselves, and that allows for a wide variety of interests and experiences. Students can also propose their own challenge activities according to a template we provide with a point value that's negotiated with their course faculty. For all the activities throughout the course, we provide sample assessment rubrics in order to make evaluation and grading of the individual and teamwork as easy as possible for course faculty. So that's a basic outline of the course and its activities. And again, all the activities can be adapted to classroom or online environments. And by changing the number or the selection of the parallel projects and challenge activities, the course can be scaled by degree level and term length. Our course package, which we provide to pilot schools, includes sample syllabi, step-by-step facilitation guides for faculty, and advice on how to conduct the course in different environments. I'd like to invite you to spend some time reading through the scope and sequence in the background document, and please let us know what you think. Your contribution is very important as we complete the development of the course over the next couple of months and prepare for the pilot launch. And here to talk more about the course pilot is Karen Primith, Director of the International Partnership Institute.